Hey folks, welcome back to the channel here. Hope you're doing well. I cannot believe 2019 is almost in the history books. I want to take an opportunity and look back at some of the gear and equipment that made my life easier as a working photographer this past year. And hopefully you can get some ideas or might be some equipment that might make your life easier too. If you're new to the channel, that's okay. You might be one of the only people on earth that hasn't already subscribed, but you can fix that quickly by hitting the subscribe button and tapping that bell as well too, so you get notified next time I release a video. I'm a professional photographer living and working here in Battleford, Saskatchewan. I've got a focus on community and conservation. I also do writing for my friend Dan over at his great website shuttermuse.com. I've got access to the latest and greatest equipment from Nikon Canada and do all kinds of gear reviews as well as some behind the scenes stories about my journeys as a professional photographer with that focus on conservation. And let's just take a look now at some of the equipment that made my list for 2019 as the most important or kind of game-changing, difference-making equipment in my toolbox over the past year. And forefront on that list, it's not a brand new 2019 thing, but it's definitely the Nikon D500. And yeah, old news, I know, right? But that D500 is just as somebody who's focusing on wildlife photography, trying to tell conservation stories, that crop sensor in the D500 is a lifesaver. It's a built-in teleconverter basically, and it's got more than enough resolution at 20.9 whatever megapixels that I find at least it's yeah, I'm never lacking for an ability to kind of crop in if and when I need to. And that D500 with its 10 frames per second shutter speed just pairs so well with the 200 to 500 from Nikon as well too. So that's still kind of been my go-to the combo that I'm using the most when I'm out in the field and trying to get shots of critters big and small, near and far. The D500, the top of my list. As I keep working through here, I'll try to show some photos too that I've either taken with this equipment or yeah, some of the pluses and minuses that have helped this equipment make it to my list here. Next up, number 2 on my list of 2019 gear that made my life easier or that I really just has a great place in my toolbox is the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. I've used all kinds of DJI drones or UAVs over the years, and it's definitely been something that's expanded not just the types of shots you can get, but it really expanded my creative toolkit as well too. And it's not always about just getting up as high as you can or as far as you can or flying as fast as you can, but just sometimes that little difference in elevation really changes the perspective and really can open up your composition with a landscape image. Yeah, so I know DJI, I've had their Phantom before too, which I found was just phenomenal, but now this DJI Mavic 2 has essentially that same sensor from the Mavic 4 Pro Plus or Mavic, yeah, Mavic 4 Pro Plus, whichever one that was, P4P. It's got that same sensor right in there in the smaller Mavic form factor. Now I know DJI has obviously since then come out with some other smaller form factors yet, such as the Mini, which is quite compelling, particularly because that Mini hits that magical 249 grams limit, which kind of means you don't have to worry so much about the same regulatory process whether you're in the US or Canada. But I find that for my purposes, the Mavic 2 Pro is still the one to go to, and I'm more than happy. I'm fully certified, registered, and all that stuff. Let's see, let's move along. Next up on my list, let's see what I got here. Well, I can't show it to you. It's a lens that I got to test out for a little while, and I was definitely in love with while I had it, and that's the Nikon 500mm f5.6 PF for Phrase Fresnel. And I think I was saying Phrase Fresnel in a couple other videos, and it's kind of embarrassing, but it's Fresnel, just like a Fresnel lens on a lighthouse. And what that does, it's got an element in it that's kind of carved out and really eliminates the need for some other elements that would be there to deal with things like diffraction, if I've got that right. And it's such a compact, lightweight lens. I just could not get over it when I was using it. It's so easy to handhold, so easy to carry around, have it hanging off your hip if you got a strap. And honestly, it's really just every bit as usable as kind of your everyday 70-200 f2.8 sort of lens. You can just keep it strapped to a camera body like that D500, and you're getting that 1.5 teleconverter, 1.5 crop factor built right in. Just incredible reach, incredible optical sharpness with it. Also kind of incredibly expensive too, but ultimately it's really good value compared to other super telephoto primes like your 500mm f4. Certainly a little bit north of the price for the 5.6 PF. So that was definitely one thing that really was a little bit of a game changer for me, is realizing that that technology is advancing there and we're getting smaller and lighter with our lenses. And it's definitely on my wish list for 2020. Saving up the pennies, I would love to have that lens in my bag on a regular basis. Next up, yeah, let's talk about something that's not necessarily a camera or a lens, but perhaps in the realm of lighting. And for me, that's the StrobePro X400. These guys are out there under a number of different brands. I'll put up a link. But yeah, this is kind of, these have been a game changer for about the last couple of years. And this is a 400 watt second strobe light that you're able to take out. And not so long ago, you used to have a power pack, your Island Chrome Rangers or whatever, all those different power kits that you'd have to take with you. But this is 100% battery powered location lighting, studio quality location lighting that can beat the sun with 400 watt seconds of light. And yeah, just incredibly powerful. It's got all these great functions in it, like TTL, high-speed sync if you need it, if you want it. For me, this was something that was incredible for doing location portraits for some of the stories I've been working on. And I did a little bit of a pro bono or volunteer assignment out in Saskatoon early in 2019. And I think if I check that file again, I had just under 100 headshots, 100 portraits taken in one day. And I had, brought up extension cords to make sure I'm able to power this, but it was no problem at all. Did not even get like maybe halfway through the battery capacity on this strobe unit. Just so powerful, so capable. And it's got the Bones mount. It takes all kinds of light modifiers on it. Last thing I love about it, yeah, it's got a modeling light built in, and the power of that modeling light is just about good enough where for a video like this, I've actually used that modeling light as a a constant light source. So lots of flexibility with this light. It's incredibly cheap compared to what you'd used to have to pay, particularly when you wouldn't be able to have that power on location. You have to have a second pack. And size-wise too, let's just take a look. Compared to like a Nalgene bottle, how's that for relatable? That's, yeah, that's really small, high-powered light. The StrobePro X400, available in different countries under different brand names, but I'll put up some links, check that one out. And let's see, that was number 4 if I'm counting correctly here. Last one for me for 2019, number 5 on my 2019 list. Let's talk about the Nikon mirrorless world. Certainly was out before 2019, but for me anyways, 2019 was definitely the year where mirrorless 100% took over. I'm still shooting, as you saw off the top there. The D500 is still my go-to body for wildlife shooting, but mirrorless is here. I think there's no turning back. The Z6 or the Z6 for a Canadian audience, and I should really be saying Z2. The Z6 is just amazing. It's a full frame sensor in there, incredible adequate resolution, incredible high ISO for low light shooting. And for me, the thing that's really revolutionized it, and the reason I'm not showing it to you in my hands right now, is because I'm using it for a video like this right here. Are you kidding me? It's just incredible video quality right out of this camera. Of course, yeah, my D810, my D500, they've all had video modes, but the video function and the accessibility, the usability of the video features in the Z6 are just so accessible, so easy to control, so easy to get into things like your slow-mo video modes. and just to change the different settings you need to change for video. It's just incredible. So the Z6 mirrorless, for me anyways, really capped off a mirrorless transition that fully happened in 2019, and I'm looking to that trend to continue for 2020 for sure. I've added a few lenses from the Z mount, Z mount lineup for Nikon, and it's, you know, that trend there with the mirrorless world and that new mount system is kind of one of the only reasons that I've been on the fence with some things, like that 500mm 5.6 PF, which is for the F mount. Yeah, it really makes you wonder if you're going to invest, you know, a significant chunk of money, like thousands of dollars, in a piece of incredible glass for the F mount, when in a few years it could be entirely obsolete. Yeah, it's really hard to say. I know some people are thinking DSLRs are going to be gone in a heartbeat. Others are saying, well, hell no, you know, it's always going to be in use for the Olympics and sports, and you know, hardcore photography is always going to be based on DSLRs. But I think I kind of land somewhere in the middle there, where I think the writing's on the wall, where the mirrorless is fully and completely going to take over. Timeline is the question. So we'll see how Nikon does with getting the rest of their lens roadmap out there. So that's it for my 2019 best of list. Thank you for checking that out. That was definitely some equipment that made my life easier in this past year. I want to put out a little video as well, so keep your eyes open for my most anticipated gear of 2020. I'm also looking forward to sharing more videos with you, more conversations with my Shutter Muse interviews about people that are making building their career and finding a way to make a profit with their passion. Let's see. Yeah, other than that, I hope you've had a great year. Let's hope for the best for 2020, and I'd love it if you came along with the journey for me. Came along for the journey with me, and yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It's so appreciated. And let's see, until next time, take care and have a good one. We'll see you on the flip side.